What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here. GemRate data, just in the nick of time. Just what we needed. More grading talk. So much talk about grading the last 3 to 4 days around these parts and in the hobby in general with all the Beckett controversy swirling. But we actually have some interesting GemRate numbers this month. PSA sets an all-time record with 1.22 million cards. That's also a 24% year-over-year increase from last March. Absolutely insane numbers. I still remember the days when people kept saying, oh, when the backlog gets cleared, these numbers are going to tank. We'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. There's no way they could keep grading this many cards. Well, here we sit. Backlog's been cleared for months now, and they're cranking 1.2 million plus cards out. Now, I should note, I'm recording this on Sunday, going up Monday morning. We have not seen an April PSA pricing special yet. I will be honest, I fully anticipate recording a video later today when you're watching this on Monday afternoon with PSA pricing information for whatever their new special is. Will they do something ultra modern? I don't know. I think a lot of us are waiting for $15 grading, but the problem is they don't really seem to need it. They just set an all-time record in a month when they ran a TCG special. TCG continues to dominate the grading scene by a large margin. We'll get more into the individual numbers here in a minute. SGC also had an amazing month. They were up 31% from February. Now, obviously, February is a shorter month, especially compared to March, has a couple extra days in it. So you're always going to have a little bit there. But that is also a record high for them, which is absolutely wild. 121,000 out of SGC. So the top two grading companies set records last month for the most cards that they have graded. And that is a 17% increase year over year. CSG, we still don't have anything on their sports card population report. On the CGC side of things, they fell off 20%. I'm going to guess a lot of that is because of the TCG grading specials going on right now. That's sucking away the business from CGC and pouring those numbers over to PSA mostly. Beckett. They graded 71,000 cards. That's an 11% increase from February. But once again, you're going to see a natural increase from February because there are more business days. So we have to factor that in with all these numbers. Year over year, that is down 7% from last year's total for the month of March. So grading continues to be just churning, just absolutely churning. We'll have to see. Obviously, I talked about it Saturday night with Filmington. We're kind of in a weird limbo period with Beckett until they formally announce what they're going to be doing. At least in the short term, it could affect submissions. Now, there is a lag on the GemRate data, obviously, because it's what's hitting the pop report. So those cards are already sitting there. But it will be something worth monitoring as we move throughout the spring and into the summer, how the Beckett numbers stack up to see if this does impact things. Or if, they come out with something that people actually really, really like, maybe it flips things the other direction. We'll just have to kind of wait and see on that one. But overall, the health of the grading industry could not be stronger, actually. 2 record months for 2 different companies. And then, like I said, we don't really know what's going on with CSG and Beckett decreasing slightly year over year, but up over the previous month. And like I said, I do expect some sort of PSA pricing. Now, whether it's ultra modern, I have no idea. But we are probably going to get something today. They've consistently done something the first of every month for the last few months. So we'll just have to kind of see what it ends up being. Sports cards. Let's break this down by the individuals really quickly and then wrap this puppy up. PSA, 25% increase. SGC, a 40% increase on theirs. Beckett down 4% on the TCG side of things. SGC gave up a lot of the ground that they gained. I think we kind of all predicted that last month. Beckett, though, sees a strong increase on the TCG side of things, a 27% increase, which I don't know that the last time this has happened. I haven't paid that close attention. They graded more TCG than sports cards last month, which is kind of interesting. 38,000 versus 32,000. CGC, like we talked about, down 17% in TCG. PSA up 18% as they continue to roll out that Pokemon special. And then the other thing to keep in mind, too, is we had a major Pokemon release in Crown Zenith. So I am sure a lot of that stuff is getting sent in to hit that pop report, and that's helping boost those grading numbers. The items graded by month chart, when you just look at PSA, is absolutely wild how this has gone on since last year. This goes back a little over a year to January 22. Just looking at this track of the items graded by month and how absolutely insane it has really been, their rise in grading capacity. And this is with, New Jersey's open, but it's not fully online. So what happens when that gets up and running as well? But plenty of cards still must be getting submitted because they're clearing 1.2 million a month. And they are still, I don't want to say building a backlog, but it's not like you get your cards back instantly. It's not like SGC where you ship them on a Monday and you have them back in your hand on a Friday. They're not that fast yet. So still plenty of cards coming into their doors. How long it'll last? We don't know. Looking at the grades by category, it's fascinating to see here. SGC, an 81% increase in baseball. They did 73,000 in baseball last month with a lot of the new baseball products coming out. That's not surprising because, as we just mentioned, since they are so fast, they turn things super quickly. So the new releases get on their pop report a lot faster. It'll be interesting to see if next month for April data, if there's a lot of football on there with Prism coming out. That will be something interesting to keep an eye on. PSA, also big increases in baseball. Not surprising with the recent releases, even though they are a little bit slower. You still have a lot of 2022 update at the end of the year. A lot of Bowman stuff's been coming out. TCG still absolutely dominates everything across the board with them. This is the TCG graded by month by PSA. And once again, going back to the beginning of 2022, look at the growth in that segment of the card world. I know, we mostly talk about sports cards and like non-sports cards, Marvel stuff around here. We don't do a ton with TCG. Obviously, I play in the sealed TCG game a little bit. Not so much with singles. I don't touch singles on TCG. But it's a massive player right now. If I keep talking to dealers that set up with Pokemon at shows, and they just absolutely crush it. Partially because there's still not a lot of dealers setting up with Pokemon, so they're kind of like the one or two people in the room that have it, which is an advantage. But you are starting to see Pokemon filter more and more into sports card shows. I saw some at Philly. I see some at my local shows. There's always at least one dealer, if not two, that has some amount of Pokemon. It's just a massive beast. They have a brand new set coming out right now in Scarlet and Violet that just released this past week. So there's going to be a ton of buzz around that. And then they just started their new block. There's just a lot going on in that space right now. And it just continues to absolutely dominate. Of ultra modern collectible things, I still think TCG sealed wax is one of the safest things out there. It could blow up in my face like anything else, but man, oh man, is that stuff just, Pokemon especially, the kids just eat that stuff up. So those are the GemRate numbers for the month of March. Some interesting things out there with companies setting record highs and massive increases year over year. The curious thing to watch here over the next 30, 60, 90 days will be what happens with pricing. Does anyone else shake anything up? Does CSG or CGC do something to shake the snow globe? There's been rumors that Beckett may have special pricing, but they're kind of in a flux right now because of everything that went on this past weekend. How does their tracking look over the next 30, 60, 90 with everything that's gone on and depending on what announcements they roll out this week? What does the PSA pricing special look like potentially later today? I'm not 100% sure they're going to launch one, but I feel pretty confident saying that there'll probably be something, even if it's just a continuation of what's already going on. But I have a feeling they kind of shake the snow globe on that one and get something new out there. But interesting times in the grading space. Probably going to be another heavy grading news week as we have PSA pricing potentially, and then if Beckett comes out with something new later this week, we will have to see. That is all I have for you, boys and girls. If you're not following GemRate, make sure that you're following GemRate either on Twitter or on Instagram. Fantastic resource, and a huge shout out to him for the assist with the Beckett population report numbers on how we kind of got to that 85% number in the various Beckett videos. I see people have taken that number and run with it, but I couldn't have got there without Ryan. I asked the questions and he got me the data. So shout out to him for the assist on that one. We will catch you boys and girls on the next one. Peace.